Good morning, good afternoon, depending on what time you're watching this. Good afternoon, I think. Welcome to the Daily Spurs Snippet. So, what's been happening with Tottenham Hotspur? It's ever moving. We're starting to see the rumour mills churn a bit now with regard to outgoings as well as incomings. I know people care more about the incomings. Of course, we care about what's going to be happening at the club next year. But to facilitate that, we've got to have outgoings. You've got to free up squad space. You've got to free up shirts. You've got to free up wages. So there's a few outgoing possibilities that are being talked about at the moment. Nothing new is happening on the incomings as far as I can see. It all seems to have stalled a little bit. Tapsoba and Van der Ven talk seems to have really dried up. So we will wait and see. Let's look at outgoings. Now, L'Equipe, I believe it said L'Equipe, the French newspaper, have said that Ndombele had a 20 million bid. But they didn't say which team, but they said we've had a 20 million bid for Ndombele. And apparently, the biggest word in football, apparently, Postecoglou has turned that 20 million down and wants to help resurrect Ndombele's Spurs career. Where are you all at with this? First and foremost, I'm not sitting here saying it's gospel. I'm not sitting here saying it definitely happened. But if it did happen, 20 million, is that enough to take Ndombele? Would you just wipe your hands clean of him? Would you just get his 200 grand a week salary off of our books? Secondly, if it did happen and Postecoglou did turn it down, it's so many ifs, buts and maybes. Why did he turn it down? Can you believe he would have turned this sort of a bid down? Is Postecoglou a type of player that will run through brick walls? Sorry, isn't Ndombele the type of player that will run through brick walls in a Postecoglou system? We've seen him for 4 years at Tottenham, and I've been thoroughly and utterly disappointed in all 4 of his years. Even his year at Napoli, he couldn't force his way into their team. He is a bit part player. He is lazy. He is unprofessional. Is he talented? Sure, he is talented. Does talent alone get you to where you want to be? People coming into the YouTube chat saying, but he's always played under a negative manager at Spurs. Now we'll be playing under a positive manager. Sorry, does that mean that if you play under a negative manager that you don't have to run? Does it mean if you play under a positive manager that you don't have to work hard and run? I have severe question marks about this guy. For me, if a bid comes in, I would let go of him. What would you do? I don't know if this is true. If it is, I'm sure we'll find out in the coming 24, 48 hours. For me, I hope that the guy leaves. An utter waste of space. He's let lots of people down and his attitude absolutely stinks. Moving on, another player who came in with high hopes. And for one reason or another, it's not worked. I don't believe it's application. I don't believe it's attitude. But Serge Reguilon. Serge Reguilon has never really settled at a club. He's played for Tottenham, Seville, Atletico Madrid. Not really getting many games anywhere. At Atletico Madrid last year, he made 11 appearances. So he clearly couldn't get in the Atletico side. I'm not saying he's a bad player. I'm not against him being at Tottenham if he was the backup to Adoji. But will he want that? He's 26 years of age now. He was highly regarded in Spain 4 or 5 years ago. Has his career hit a kind of plateau? Has he reached the ceiling of the player he is? Was he a victim of having to play wing backs? Would he be good in a full-back position under Postecoglou? Who knows? I don't feel like with Ndombele, I'm happy for him to go. With Reggie, I'm not either or. I don't mind. If he goes and you make some revenue. If he stays, he stays. All I know is we've got a lot of left-sided players and we don't need them all. Perisic, Sessegnon, Reggie, Adoji, Davis. You don't need all of them. For me, Reggie might be one of the ones where we get money. And Off the back of that, the last 48 hours have seen many reports from across Europe saying that Osasuna in the Spanish league, in La Liga, are looking to buy Reguilon. Now, Osasuna had a good year last year, finishing 7th in La Liga, getting them into the Conference League. So he'd be joining a club that has European football, and the fee being talked about between clubs is 10 million to 15 million euros. Would you sell him? Should he go? Again, they're all reports. We don't know if these are real. Sometimes you know, sometimes you don't. At the moment, these are ones which we're not 100% certain. So Serge Reguilón, what would you do? Would you keep him? Would you put him straight in the team? Would he be a backup? Would you sell him? Maybe another loan? What needs to happen with Serge Reguilón? Let me know. The next player on the list, it's good that we're starting to see rumours and murmurs about players leaving. We need this. If every player we sell for 15, 20 million, 10, 15 million, whatever it may be, it starts to add up. And those fees start to pay for the Tapsobers, for the Van de Vens, for the Madisons, for the Vicarios. That's how a club should work. You get players out, you bring players in. The next player is a player that I'm sure I won't have any resistance in this. Davinson Sanchez has been at Tottenham for a very, very long time and has been a disaster, if we're brutally honest. He came in, everyone said he was this great player that played for Ajax, other than Mourinho, who told his Man United team to target Sanchez in the Europa League final. He came in, at times he looked okay, playing alongside Jan Vertonghen and Toby Alderweireld. But then again, so did Eric Dyer at times. That's what happens when you've got two top-class defenders. They can make anyone look good. But Davinson Sanchez, for me, has been getting worse and worse and worse. He has not progressed as a footballer at all. And this guy has played over 200 games for Tottenham Hotspur. Let that sink in. 200 games or more for Tottenham Hotspur. He also had that terrible game last year where he was brought onto the pitch and then subbed off in the same game because he just looked shocking. It was when Spurs lost at home to Bournemouth and Stellini put him in the firing line and then quickly took him out. I feel for Sanchez because I don't think he's good enough to be at a club like Spurs, but he's on a big salary. They're saying that he's on between 85 and 90,000 pounds a week. He's been here for a very long time now. Surely this has to be the end of the road for Davinson Sanchez. Surely. Villareal are looking to buy him, apparently. He is going to be the heir apparent to Torres, who has gone to Aston Villa. Now, if you were a Villareal fan and you were going from that to Davinson Sanchez, would you be really upset? That's not our concern. We want them to sign him. Apparently, the figure being bandied about is 15 million euros. Davinson Sanchez, I wish him well. I hope he goes on to do some good things somewhere else. And let's hope that Villareal come to fruition with that bid. There were also talks that Galatasaray was sniffing around him because Nelson might be leaving them. Watch this space. We'll see what happens. The last bit of news coming out today, again, it involves the Kane saga. Lots of different topics, lots of different conversations surrounding Harry Kane. We don't know what's true. The man's on holiday. Should his team say something? Should his team not say something? Are Bayern Munich coming in with a second bid? Has he given them the nod that he would go if Daniel Levy lets him? Will Daniel Levy let him? What does that figure need to be? What will Spurs do to replace him? There are all these different factors that we need to put into this. But reports coming out today are from Football London. Depending if you believe them or not, Football London have said that Harry Kane in the last 48 hours has had a transfer meeting with Thomas Tuchel. Let that sink in. So the manager of Bayern Munich, it's being reported that he has had a transfer conversation with Harry Kane. Now, obviously, that won't be about the fee. That won't be about any of the stipulations. But if it did happen, I don't believe it happened, but if it did happen, let's play that hypothetical game, then it would very much be along the lines of, Harry, this is what I want from you. Harry, this is what we're trying to build. We want to win. We're going to win the league. We want to go for a Champions League. Do you want to come and join this revolution and win trophies? Now, believe what you want. Speculation. We've had this before, not just with Kane. We've had it with many players at Spurs. We've had it with many players in the Premier League. Sometimes, though, when there is smoke, there is definitely fire, and something is definitely going on here. Now, this can all be shut down if Harry Kane comes out in the next week, 2 weeks, and says, I'm back at training now. I'm going on tour with Spurs. I don't want to leave. But I've got a feeling this is going to rumble on a lot longer. As we draw this video to a close, what I will say is it's interesting times at Spurs. There's still a lot of negativity from fans. Obviously, people still reeling from the last 4 or 5 years. But I'm starting to see green shoots. I'm starting to see fans with a bit more positivity towards the club, with a bit more positivity towards the transfers that we are making, the Vicarios, the Solomons, the Madisons, potentially the Van de Vens and the Tapsobers. It's good to see. Spurs, over to you. You've got to hold up your end of the bargain. If you want to get fans back on side, you've got to build their trust back. I'll leave it there. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing. We're growing fast. We're trying to hit 7,000. We're about 280 away. So please smash that subscribe button. Help me out. And I will see you later on. Take care, everybody. And as always, come on, you Spurs.